Hello everyone, this is Majbin Baloch from Pakistan and you're watching my YouTube channel Insani Itihad, which aims to invoke a little bit of humanity in all of us through awareness and understanding. So today is actually the Shabbat before the Yom Kippur fast, and this Shabbat is actually called as Shabbat Shua or Shabbat Teshuvah. So a lot of extra forgiveness, prayers, and a lot of spirituality around this Shabbat. So I had watched this video, which I will share in the description box for you to see. And I had watched this video, and this gave me this thought-provoking idea about my own personality, about my own life, and my own choices. And it talks about not just forgiving and forgetting and letting go, but also rebuilding and reconstructing and the relationships, not only the relationship with Hashem, but around us, the relationship with our friends, our family, our loved ones, and to reconstruct them and rebuild them. Now, I have a serious problem with that, because the kind of personality that I have, I can forgive and forget, but I had always struggled on rebuilding and reconstructing the relationships that I have with people who have in some way, kind of offended me, or kind of hurted me, or I have hurted them, or our, relationship have, spoiled a little. So for me, it is my motto is just forgive, forget, and let go these people. Never, rebuild the relationship. No, I'm not that sort of person. My childhood friends, who are, at least half of them that I know are abroad, they know that, I am not on speaking terms with them. And when we were friends, we were like very close. We used to hang out and stay at each other's home and stuff. My very close friend, recently we had some, there was something that I got offended, and I was hurt, because I knew that she knew me. She was one of my best friends. But seeing her, do this, it was like, she said that, maybe I said something and, whatever. She didn't apologize. But, I kind of, parted my ways, and, my sister and I were speaking, and she was saying that, you are very selfish in regards to, letting go people, because you think that you are this very great person who forgives and let goes, but actually you let go relationships, and you don't forgive people in reality to accommodate them back into your life, but you just want to forgive, forget, and like an arrogant person, let go. Recently, my mother's sister, I have told before that my mother was a convert from Christianity. So my mother's elder sister and younger sister were both Christian, and the elder sister actually came from the UK, from the US, after COVID, I think 4 or 5 years. So she didn't actually come to our family to condole for to offer condolences for the death of my mother, because my mother died in 2016 and she was unable to come. And I don't know if she called my other sister. I was not in Pakistan, I was abroad. Anyway, so she came, and my mother's youngest sister called my sister. By the way, I'm not very good with my mother's family and my father's family for, all sorts of reasons. Mainly personally, I personally don't like them, neither my father's family nor my mother's family, inherently, because they are just, their morality is very low, and I don't tend to, be with people who are just so, one of this youngest aunt of mine, my mother's sister, is literally cheating the United States immigration, officials to get into the United States, and she actually advises everyone to do the same. Anyway, not my cup of tea. So my they called my youngest sister, and they said that, after so long, your aunt has come from the US, and why don't you come and see her? My brother also doesn't like these two aunts of my mom, because they never accepted my mother's decision of converting to Islam, and therefore they have this huge grudge over my mother, and whenever they come see us, they criticize my mother and criticize her decision to convert into Islam. So my brother gets offended and say, how dare they criticize my mother? She had every right to make any decision she wants, especially the decision of marrying her father or converting to Islam. So they have no right to say that, and I don't like the way they talk about my mother. It's very insulting. So tell them not to come to my house. So obviously they couldn't come and visit our house for condolencing or whatever purpose. My younger sister, her heart melted, and she said, Mehreen, let's go, you and me, we go and we meet our aunt who has come after so long, and see her, and then we'll come back. And my youngest aunt actually told my sister that there is this very important thing that my eldest aunt who lives in the US wants to talk to you and Marjabin, so do come. So my sister was like, they care about us, and you're converting to Judaism. Maybe she would say, okay, I will invite you. And I said, Kulsum, get out of your mentality. These people, these sick people who are fooling the American society and American officials, they can't think right. And Americans are stupid to give them nationalities and green cards. I am not. They're going to say something really ridiculous, and it's going to hurt you, and it's going to disappoint you. Let's just not go. She insisted, be a little, you don't have this big heart, and you don't forgive and forget. So let's just go. I went, and I'm not going to share what they said or what, because that's below my dignity, below my morality to even talk about it. I'll just say this one thing. These kind of people are fucking up the loopholes in the immigration policy of the United States of America or all those Western countries. Western countries need to seriously think who they give visas to, who they give the green cards to. Invite genuine people who are not only beneficial for your society, but actually they have a little bit of morality. These kind of people can sell their souls for anything, and they are a big danger to not just the United States or the West, but the entire world. So please do some research and invite people who have a little bit of humanity awakened in their hearts and minds. Anyway, cut story short, we come back, and I told my sister was very emotional, and she said, you know what, you were right. And I thought maybe they would say something really ridiculous and bad, but they have just gone below the morality, and she was such deeply disappointed, and she was like this, and she said, and then she agreed with me that it's right that you don't speak with them. It's right that you forgive them, forget them, and don't want these kind of people in your life. So I agree with you. And I'm sorry that I said that you're very selfish, who just, this queen who just forgives and forgets and just lets people go. You don't, and she said to me that you don't have the heart to accommodate people who make mistakes and rebuild their relationship. So she agreed that to a certain extent, people like these shouldn't be allowed to be involved in your life or remain in your life. And then after watching this video, I realized, and I showed this video to my younger sister also, and I questioned, while after actually watching this video of this great rabbi, an amazing message, and I realized that I thought that, Kulsum, what you said was actually very legit. There is this egoism in me, that, I will forgive and forget, but I won't, accommodate or take you back into my life or, reconstruct our relationship and stuff. And then this one question came into my mind. What are the relationships that we need to just let go? And what are the relationships that we have to work on and rebuild and reconstruct? Because after all, time in time, Bnei Israel has sinned, and Hashem has not only forgiven them and forgotten their sin, but Hashem and both Israel have mended their relationship, and they have reconstructed and rebuilt that strong, passionate relationship with each other. So I realized, what are those relationships that we should let go and hold on to and rebuild and reconstruct no matter what? Because we are all, we're not immune to, mistakes. We're not immune to sinning. But where do we draw that line that, where we do not destroy ourselves emotionally and hurt ourselves or break ourselves? Where do we draw that line? And then I realized, me and my sister, we discussed, and we realized that I think in the marital relationships, or in the relation, for example, me, many a times I have said some really bad things to my sister. Many a times my sister has said many bad things to me. She has hurted me. She has pained me. I have hurted her. I have pained her. But in the end of the day, even in that hurt, even in that pain, there was this our shared unconditional true love, that we cared about each other, and we got so angry with each other that we wanted to bring the best in us, in both of us, and therefore we hurted each other. And that's why, it's important that, between siblings, between marital relationships, we need to not only forgive and forget, but also reconstruct and rebuild our relationships. Talk to our spouses, talk to our siblings, and tell them that, we did this to bring the best in you. We did this to show you what you're worth, or what else you can do better, and, add to your personality. We didn't do this out of this sheer evilness or a scheme of doing things, or being used, or trying to use the other person. What our aunt, what my mother's sisters were trying to do with me and my younger sister. They were using us. They were using our abilities. They were trying to, use what they can and manipulate us. Those are not real relationships where there is manipulation. There is this amount of using the other person for our own benefits in our own ways. Real relationships are actually the ones which bring the best in us, which try to convince us to become better people and have much more stronger and deeper relationships. And I think marital relationship or marriage is worth that. Our family bonds, whether it's being sisters or brothers or parents and children, I think those bonds needs to be rebuilt and reconstructed after, forgiving and forgetting. So that was it. And also, it reminded me of a very beautiful thing that my mother used to tell me. She used to say that when a husband and wife do not get intimate or do not come close to each other in the period of 40 days or 40 days, the marriage is actually over. So if a wife is angry at her husband, or a husband is angry at his wife, and they don't reconcile, and they don't get intimate, and that they don't get close to each other back as wife and husband, in 40 days period, the marriage is literally over. And then I recall that at Mount Sinai, Mount Sinai, my rabbi actually told me, the one who taught me Torah. So at Mount Sinai, when Moses went up to speak to God and receive the tabernacles and the tablets, it was 40 days that Hashem was focused on Moshe and was speaking to only Moshe and not Israel, like apparently. But obviously, Moshe was representing the entire nation of Israel at Mount Sinai. And God had beforehand spoke to all colorless Israel, all the Israelites. And then, Moshe Rabbeinu ascended to Mount Sinai and received the tablets and tabernacle and everything. And to teach the Torah and teach Torah to the people of Israel. But that ignorance, that minute ignorance in a marital relationship between Hashem and Israel actually affected Israel, and therefore they made this golden calf. I know I've said that they actually didn't make, but the way Torah tells us this significance of 40 days of ignorance and excommunicating between two spouses, even though Moshe was there and representing Israel, even then, Israel replaced Hashem to a golden calf. So this beautiful analogy, an anecdote that my mother told me, that no matter what, if one truly loves his or her spouse, 40 days are way too long to be, excommunicated. And if you really want to rebuild and reconstruct your marriage and want to have a life with your spouse, go back to your spouse. Forgive, forget, talk to your spouse within those 40 days and reconstruct your marriage, reconstruct your relationship, rebuild your relationship, rebuild your marriage. I hope we understand the importance of relationship, and we have the maturity to handle each and every relationship at its merit, and we have the ability to rebuild and reconstruct our relationships in our marital, in our family, and especially with Hashem, because once our relationship is rebuilt and reconstructed and strengthened with Hashem, only then we would have the clarity to build beautiful human relationships here on earth, to make this earth, this world, a holy place for the Shekhinah to dwell in and to Hashem to dwell in. Shabbat Shalom. Have a blessed Shabbos, good Shabbos, and Shabbat Teshuvah Sameach, as the rabbi said. Have a good and blessed Shabbat of Teshuvah, rebuilding and reconstructing the relationship with Hashem and our loved ones. Shabbat Shalom once again, and Shabbat Teshuvah Sameach. Thank you.